Hey there, awesome viewers. Welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel, where we turn complex tech into simple, actionable steps. Whether you are a seasoned developer or just starting your coding journey, you are in the right place. Today, we are diving into something super exciting, which is going to be integrating Google Maps into our Blazor Hybrid Mobile application. Imagine creating sleek, interactive maps that elevate your app's user experience to the next level. Sounds cool, right? So in this video, I'll walk you through the entire process from setting up your project to embedding Google Maps seamlessly into your Blazor app. So by the end of you watching this tutorial, you have a fully functional map feature that you can customize to fit your app's unique needs. I'm going to create this as a playlist, and there's not going to be only video in it. I'll be creating a lot of videos on how to work with map from the basic to advanced one. So make sure you stay tuned and you get notified by subscribing to this. If you like this video and want me to continue this series, then give me a thumbs up. Alright, so launch your Visual Studio and I'll create your Blazor Hybrid project. I've created mine and I have tested it in my emulator and it is running, as you can see from the screen. Now, in order to integrate this, it's quite simple. The first step that we need to do is to create an app in Google Console. So let's hop into our browser and I'll do that. So I have my browser over here and let's access this site. So we're going to access cloud.google.com. I think that is a start with console. So don't forget, I'll put this link in the video description. So you can just go in there and grab that. You must make sure you have signed in. If you haven't done that, then you do sign in. That is a simple step, and I believe you can do that, isn't it? Amazing. All right, so when we launch this, there is a home page, and here, the very first thing that we're going to be doing here is to create a project. I have a Blazor CSR over here, but I'm not going to use that. So you can click on that, and now you can create a new project. So let's create a new project. And this is going to be Blazor Hybrid Map. This is actually demo. No organization, so you can just click on create to create it. So now that you have that, you must make sure you see there's a process going on. So you wait for this to complete, and you have to select the project here. So click on this, and I'll make sure you select your project. Now, as soon as you select your project, click on this. Now go to API and services. Just click on that. Now, once this is opened, we want to focus on this. Don't worry about what you see here. You can read for yourself, but you want to focus this. Enable APIs and services. If you want to integrate or you want to enable Google Map API. So that's going to be in a JS form. So click on this. And now before you do that, there are some few things that you need to do. Check here. All these are the products that Google do provide. But you want to focus on Maps JavaScript API. Okay, so let's click on this. Then in here, click on Enable to get this activated. Are you done? Now, before you enable this, there are some few steps that you need to also follow. Google needs to verify your account, meaning you need to provide your credit card information. Now, according to the documentation, no amount will be deducted, but you need to provide that. So as you can see from this is my account. Click on agree and continue. You choose your country, then continue with that. So you can see from here, you can start from a free trial. But before you do that, you must add your payment profile, then your payment method. So if I click on this payment profile, you can see you need to provide organization. Actually, I'm individual, so let me put them down. Now here, I'm going to provide my name. That is the legal name, so I can have my legal name. Then I can have my street. Since I'm in Ghana, I'm going to provide us, let's say this is my street, and the city here, it is the same. So never mind my street. So I'll put it here, and with this, I'm going to be given an ID. Now left with the payment method. So here, click on add debit card, and I'm sure you're going to be saying, hey, you're going to go offline and add your credit card, isn't it? Yeah, so just add yours, card number, and now the expiry date and your security code. Do that and I'll save card. Okay. So I have one account activated already. So I'm not going to do this because Google will not accept the same credit card by creating different account. So when you are done doing that, you're going to be coming to the same page as you did, and you have your project already here. Now, once you have your project created, all that you need to do here is you go to your keys and credentials. And here you want to grab our security key, our API key. Okay, so when you come here, you can see that you're going to have your key specified. And now with that key, you can click on this to show your key. So now that we have our key, our API key copied, let's come to our application. And we're going to create a JS file. So go to solution, and in your www root folder, if I click on this, look at it. If I right click on this and I'll go to add, then select new item. If you want to create JS file here, I think it is not possible. If I click on JavaScript, you can see I don't have that. So I just launch any of your text editor like Sublime. Now let's save this somewhere in my files, download files. So I'm going to say map.js, which is going to be a JS file. Once I have this, I can close this one. Then that is the file. So I'm going to grab this. I can just cut from here. Then in my www folder, I'm going to paste it. That is this one. After I'm done, I'm going to click on this index, then drag this map here. So solution, drag the map, and now reference it here. That is all. So let's go to the map and the file, and let's create a function to initialize the Google map. So make sure you click on it to open it. Once it's open, we're going to create a function to initialize the map. So let's do that. So that is all that we need. We're going to create a function named as initialize map, and then we want to call this Google map. And in that, we're going to display this map in a div. So we're going to get that div element by an ID, and that name we're going to give it as map. So don't forget this name. We're going to use that in our component. Then you want to set our longitude and latitude. So maybe in case you have a specific longitude and latitude, you can specify them here. So this is a dummy one where you want to center the map. You want to zoom it, you want to call it as A. Okay, so now that we have this, we need to get access to, we need to remember the name and now the element or the element ID. Okay, let's go to our component. We want to display that in the home page. Now to get a full view in your mobile app, let's say the complete view, we should override the layout. So check from your component, then from your layout. You can see from this, you have a main layout. Get rid of this. So I'm going to cut this and I'll put it here. And let's comment this. That is all. Come to your home.razor. So in here, we're going to create our div. Then we're going to specify the ID as what we did in the script. And then we're going to call this script when the page rendered. That's going to use on after render async. That is one of the life cycles of the page. So let's do that. So we have our div created. Further, we inject our JS runtime, which will give us access to call any JS file as we created the script. Then we're going to create our div, and here we need to specify the ID as map as we did in the script. And then we specify this height as a way to cover the entire screen of the mobile app. Then when the page rendered, let's say on after render, when the page first render, we want to call this the initialize method script name that we created, and that is exactly what we're doing. So just simple code to give us great output. Before you can run this to make it work, we need to reference the Google JS file, okay? And in that we need to provide our API key. So go to the index.html file, and on here you can decide to put it here in the head section or down here. So maybe here we can add this line. Then with this line, paste your API key here. The API key that you copied, paste it here. Okay, so I'll go offline and I'll paste mine, and I'll be going to run this project. Oh, amazing. And as you can see, now our map is ready. So you can have the map and the satellite. Now, if you want to zoom in and zoom out, you can do that with this. So maybe you can go in and do some magic with that. As soon as you click on this, if you want to view the street, you can just drag this. So what's here? You can just drag this to any to open it wide for you. Yes, and you're going to have access to it. So that is a way to integrate map in your Blazor Hybrid application. That's amazing, isn't it? And I believe you love this. Stay tuned. I'm going to be bringing you a whole lot of content on Blazor Hybrid of integrating map in it. So if you want me to continue with this, then thumbs up is quite important. So give it to me, and also subscribe if you haven't done that. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends and everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. In this video, we're going to look at how we can integrate location service in our Blazor Hybrid application. If you haven't checked the initial video, which talks about how you can integrate map in your Blazor application, then I highly recommend you to watch that. In that, we created an app in Google Console. Then we had access to our secret key, that's an API key. And now within that, we integrated that in the JS file in a index.html file. And now we call that file here, specifically a method specified in the function that we created. That is all that we did to make sure our app or our Google Map runs on our smartphone, which is a mobile application. So in this video, let's look at how we can integrate a location service in it. Now, in order to get a location service, if you decide to use the emulator, it's not going to work because default map location service is set to, I think, California or so, and you cannot navigate in that. So when I was testing this, I needed to connect my normal Android phone so I can use that to check it. Okay, so I have my Samsung A12 phone here, and I have connected, and by the help of this AirDrop cast, I can share my Android screen to the screen. Yes, so you can see from the screen, and that is what we're going to work on it. So currently I am deploying the app on a physical device, and as for this, it has all the necessary input to make this work. So in this, we're going to make it work. Now I want to check from this function that we created in our map.js. Now see from the map.js, when the page initializes, we call this method. That's to initialize the map. And now in that the map, what we want to focus here is a line 4. You know, we are specifying our latitude and longitude straight here. This is giving us a different location. But if in case we want this to have a precise or a specific location, let's say where we are now. As soon as I launch the map, it should detect where I am, and I'll give the location or set the location to where I am now. Okay, so how do we do it? And that is what we're going to have a look. We can use JS function to handle that. That is to get our geolocation, or we can also use the API in our MAUI. MAUI has a geolocation API that we can use, which gives access to our longitude and latitude, and then we can pass these parameters in the function. So we're going to modify this function a little bit by passing in 2 parameters. Then we're going to take these parameters and now replace them to where we have these values here. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So you see that here, there's quite simple steps, isn't it? Now, our initialize method needs parameters before it can work. All right, so once you're done with this, the next thing we're going to be doing here is we're going to create a service to handle our location. So you can see from here that we have an interface created, and that is it, which is going to get us a current location. We have a response specified in here, and that means we need to create a response which takes in 2 properties, latitude and longitude. Now from here, we want to create a service which is going to implement the interface, and then we have it. So we can use this API, that is Google geolocation.getLocations async. So we can use this API to get access to location. But before that, we need to check if we have service or permission allowed before you can get location. So we check in case permission is not allowed, then you want to do this. You want to display this. And then, from here, we have a desired accuracy. We want to get the best out of it. The time that you use to get the location here is 30 seconds. Then request full accuracy, that is when using the mobile font, this is going to work well. In case location is not null, then that is where I want to return the longitude and latitude, because these are the parameters that we need in order to satisfy our JavaScript function, isn't it? Else we return null. And that is what we're doing. So you can see from here, we're creating a custom exception so we can handle that maybe later on. And then that is it. So once you have this, the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to register this service. So let's grab it. Let's go to our program. That's a MAUI program, and register this service. So once you have this service registered, now let's go to our component and now inject it. So from in our home.razor, let's inject it here. Once you're done with the injection, we can go ahead and use this. So here, in order to specify or to satisfy this function, That is a function name that we call in the JavaScript as we did earlier on, and that is this one. And that it takes in two parameters, so we need to specify these parameters respectively. So we come to our component, then here the first parameter takes in what? Latitude and longitude. So let's come in and do same. Latitude first, and we're going to say that from here we need to get a service. So in case it's rendered for the first time, we want to get this service. So once we have this location, we have our service here, we can go there and I'm passing dot latitude. That is going to be the first one. This should be an await so we can have the end results. Then we're going to have the longitude over here. So we have satisfied the function, that's the JS function, and that is all that we need to do. So we can put a breakpoint and check this out. So let's run this and check it out. So now our app is now running on our physical device. Now let's see, as soon as it's ready and now it's going to render, we see we have a breakpoint hit. Now when we step in over here, we check if it is first render, and that is true. Now we're going to call this service and I'll get the location of where we are now. So here, let's make sure it's over there. Now maybe we're having an issue, so we can check from the output and now see what issue that we are getting. So when you check here, you can see that we're having this issue, and now it is saying that one or more error occurred, right? You need to declare using the permissions Android.permission.access course location. So that means we should add this permission. So let's go and do that. Go to solution, then in your platforms, your Android manifest, right click on this, go to open with, then choose XML text editor. Now in here we're going to add these two lines here to request permission to our location. So add these two lines, that is the access course location and access find location. Now if you're working with iOS, then I think we can also do same in the info plist. So maybe we can go in and also open the same with the text editor. So in the iOS, we have the info plist, open with the same text editor. And we need to also add this line so we can have access to the location. So add this, that is the key, and now add this. Okay, so now that we have this, I think we are good to go. Let's run this. So now while it is opening, we make sure our breakpoint will be hit. So we go to our home.razor and it is hit. Now we have this permission added. So let's check it up. So we get this service. And now from here, if I open, you can see I have this. So allow Blazor Hybrid Map to access this location. Now you have a precise because we added the best. So you should click on while using the app. So let's give this access. So click on this. I'm going to do that on my phone now so you can see it on the screen. So when using this access, I have this clicked. Now we're going to have access to this. So check it out. You can see we have a location response. So that's my latitude and that's my longitude, right? So as I have this, if I click on continue, it's going to execute this map.js, pass on this lat and along. Then we're going to center that to this. So let's see, the default map center is going to move from the initial one to my current location. Let me bring this up. Then click on continue. Now check it out. So you can see that it has now moved from here and I'm in Accra because that's where I am now. If you know where I am, I'm in Accra. That is Ghana. So you can see it has moved from the default location and now to Africa. That is in Accra, Ghana. All right, so that is a way to have your current location be set in the map. So it's not the map loads, it's going to get access to your current location. So in our next video, we're going to talk about how to integrate marker in it. Now that we have our location set, we want to have a pin. And even on that pin, as soon as I click on that pin, it should give me an information, the place that I am, the country name, the town name, the street name, and some other extra information that I want to get. We want to look at that in the next video. So if you enjoyed this, as usual, hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. If you haven't watched the first video too, then I'll put that in the description so you can just go in there and I'll check it as well. All right, so that is it. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'm going to catch up again in the next one. Till then, take care. Hello friends and everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. This is actually the third video of integrating Google Map API in our Blazor Hybrid Mobile application. In the first video, we looked at how to integrate the map itself. In the second video, we looked at how we can set up our current location onto the map. And now in this video, we're going to look at how we can add markers to the map. When you have a location set, you want to have an icon or a marker which pinpoint exactly where you are. And in case maybe you want to display information on it, such as the coordinate, having the longitude and the latitude, and also the country name, the state, and even in case you have a postal address, you can have it. How do you do that? And that is exactly what we're going to have a look in this video. So as usual, if you haven't watched the previous videos, I'll put them in the description. You can check it out from the playlist also, and you're going to have a better understanding of this before you come to this video. All right, so let's assume you've watched the other two videos and you are good. You want to move forward. Let's hop into it and I'll make this different. Now, this is what you're going to be doing. We want to make sure that we have this API activated in our Google Console. In the first video, we looked at how to create this app in the Google Console and how to get our API key and how we can integrate that. We saw everything in there. Now, let's say in order for this to work, we need to make sure we have these APIs ready. So when you have a look at the console from our project that we created in the Google Console, there are some APIs or services that we need to make sure they are on. First one is we need to have our Places API. Now we have a new one, but well, we want to focus on the number one that we know. So Places API. Now this API will enable us to get detailed information about 100 million places, right? So including country, state, and etc. So we can have details on this. The next one is, we have geocoding. We have geolocation and geocoding. When you look at this, geolocation is around somewhere here. So when you look at this, let me just move this. Okay. Now geolocation here gives you location data from a cell tower and a Wi-Fi node. And now here, that's not what we want to make sure we get. We want to look at this geocoding. Now this converts between addresses and geographic coordinates. So essentially we want to get a country name, the postal code, and also the state, and we want to get this. And now we cannot get this state unless you provide the coordinates, such as the longitude and the latitude. When you provide these two coordinates, then when you have this API enabled, we can get access to it. We're going to calculate this and give us a specific location, the place, and all the details of that specific coordinate that we provided. So we need to make sure we have this. So you see, I have this disabled. It tells you that, well, it is on, isn't it? And also it is also enabled. So make sure you have these two enabled. Good. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is we go to our solution. So in order for us to get this APIs ready, in our index, we have our script. That's where we need to specify our API key. So after you have your API key, let's say this is my API key. After we do that, we're going to say end. Okay, so this end, then we have our libraries. Now this libraries, we want to specify places because we want to get the coordinates, get the location by using this geocoding. So we need to make sure we have the places on. And normally, since I'm going to be working with marker, normally I can also add marker to get the exact thing that I need. So I can also add a marker. Do not space it. Yeah, so we have places and now marker. So add these libraries to after you have your API key specified, and then add this. Good. So once you are done with this, the next thing that you're going to be doing is we're going to update our JavaScript method so we can get this marker set as soon as the app loads. Okay, so when you check our home component, what we're doing here is when the app loads, we want to make sure we invoke this. We invoke this, we pass in our location.latitude and our longitude. That is coming from this geolocation API from .NET MAUI. So once you have that, when we check our JS file, you know that we are also receiving them as parameters, and then we want to center the latitude and the longitude. So this is going to give us the exact place where we are and now located. This is the div that we set the ID to. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to be doing is, once we have this, maybe we can increase the zoom to 13, and let's set marker. Now we can set the marker straight here, or we can create a method and now put it in there. Now since you want to set the marker as soon as the page renders, you can put it here. As soon as the page initializes, you can get it. Or you can also separate it and create it in a separate function, so you can be using it all the time. I think that is the best thing. So maybe it is not only this. When you update the location, you want to also set marker to that. Okay, so when you have this marker function created separately, you can be calling them in every or a lot of functions. So let's do that. So after we set the map, we center it, we want to go in and set the marker. So let's have a variable to handle that. So that's what we're doing. Now we want to make sure that in case we have marker set already for this map, we want to clear that so we can set a new one, because with our location, we want to pinpoint only one location. That's where we are, because we have only one longitude and latitude. So as soon as we have a specific location, we want to make sure we have only one marker set. So we keep overriding this marker. Okay, so that's the reason why I want to clear that. Now, after we get this cleared, we can go ahead and set our own. So from here, we're also creating a method. After we clear this, you want to set map marker. We specify our latitude and our longitude. And now here is a title that we want to provide it. So this title will be set again this marker. As soon as you click on that icon, you're going to see that, hey, this is your location, your current location. You can decide to set up a name or do whatever thing that you want to do with it. But here you want to just hard code this value here as your current location. So now that we have this, let's define this method down here as a function. All right, so when you look at our set map marker function, we have the parameter specified earlier on as we are calling in our initialize function. And in here, we want to get a coordinate which comprises of our latitude and longitude. So we pass in these two parameters. We have our coordinate in here. Now we have our markers variable created over here, and now we want to make sure if marker is set, we want to clear that. When we clear it and have a space, that is what you want to do. So you want to make sure when you call this method here, by then this marker is cleared, is null, and you want to set it to an instance of this marker. We specify the position which is coming from this coordinate. Okay, now this coordinate should be same as this coordinate. Okay, so now we have this map. Now you can see that we have this map set outside, because when the page initializes, we have this map. Instead of setting this map internally, we want to make it a global so we can have it over here. So that's the reason why I've added that. Then we have, and this is the title as a payload, or the payload as a parameter coming in. Then we have an icon. So the icon, we have this URL. Now I am pinpointing to a specific icon, and I use this link. So I can grab this. Let's check the icon that I'm going to use. You can also specify any icon of your choice. So let's see this. So that is the icon that I'm talking about. So that's the link over here, and it's giving out this icon, this pin icon. So in case you want to use any icon, you can grab the link of that icon and now use it in there. Over here, we scale the size 50-50 for width and height, and now we set the point to 1632. All right, so now we have this mapper set. Now, what's the next thing that we want to do? Before we set this mapper, also you want to get the coordinate location. Remember that we enabled our geocoding, which can give us access to the coordinate by calculating the coordinate to give us the country name, the postal address, and a whole lot. Okay, so let's have another method so we can call to retrieve all this information and then add it to our info window, which is going to be popped up as soon as we click on this mapper. But by the end, you're going to make sure that we have an attached event to this. As soon as I click on this icon or this marker, I need to have that popped up. So let's see, let's do that. So when you look at this, we are attaching a click event to this map, this marker, so that user can click on this. And now when user clicks on this, we have this variable created as info window. We have this variable specified here, but we haven't configured that. We're going to create a function to also handle that. Now in that, we want to make sure we open this info window. We pass in the map that we have over here, and then we want to specify the marker. This is the marker that we have. So we have the map. Then we have the marker too, so it can pop up and then give us the information that we need. Okay, so let's go and handle this get location details function. All right, so when you look at this get location details function too, we pass in the coordinate, which are the longitude and the latitude over here. Then in that, you want to use this geocoder from this Google, and that's the API that we enabled. Now in that here, so I think this is using this geocoder. Okay, So you want to calculate it by passing in the latitude and the longitude parameters that we have. We're going to return a response of results. We're going to be an array. Then we're also going to have a status. Now this status here is going to be an HTTP status. So we want to check that is the status equal to OK, which is actually in .NET 200, isn't it? And the result also has at least 1. Then we want to move on with this. Else we can handle that. But in case it works, what are we doing? It's going to return an address component. So you want to extract an address component of it. Then in the address component, you can have all these details in there: country, town, state, and a postal code. And that is a way to get or search for that specific value here. So for the country, we want to include country. For town, we want to do same with locality. For states, you want to use administrative area level 1. And at the postal code, you're going to be using the postal underscore code. In there, we want to extract the value. So we're going to say that long name, right? So we can get it. When we have this data at hand, we want to set this info window. Remember that here we have created this info window as a variable. If you remember from the top here, we said let info window. And now here we want to open this info window as soon as we click on this marker. So that's what we are doing here. So here we have these values. This is called. And as soon as we attach the event, you want to call this function. This is a function going to populate it and now call this to set this info window. So before we open it, click on it to get it open. This will be called, and then the details will be assigned to this info window. So let's go and have this function defined. So when you look at our info window function that we have created, this info window is coming from Google Maps. And now this gives us access to render our HTML and CSS in it. Now you can see from here, we have a style set over here. And this is our style for this div. Okay. Now with this div, I think we need to close this div first. Okay, so we have a style set for this div. All of these are happening in just a div. We have this CSS specified. And now we have this element for HTML for the header. And now we have this for individual item in it. You want to specify the country name, the town, the state, and the postal code. In case there's it doesn't have, this coordinate doesn't have, then what we're going to be doing here is we want to return not available. Okay. But also we want to get the latitude and also the longitude. So maybe we can also add 2 elements here at the bottom. Then we can also specify the latitude and then the longitude in there, because we are passing it as parameters and we need to showcase it to the user. All right, so we have a longitude, we have a latitude here. So this is the information that we want to display as soon as the user clicks on this marker. And there's going to be a pop-up window so the user can read about the specific location that the pin is pointed to. Okay. Now, when the app loads, maybe you can decide to render this as soon as it loads. So maybe when you call this method set info window, which is after getting this location, after setting this, you want to make sure we display that. We don't want to wait for the user to click on it before it displays. But if the user still close it and now clicks on it again, it should be able to display. So let's open it. And now this line is going to make this visible to everybody or to the user. Okay. That's the time for us to run. So as usual, I told you in the second video that if you use this emulator in Visual Studio to check this map, you may not have the exact location. Okay. So I have my physical device, my Samsung A12 connected, and that is what you see on the screen. So you can see from here that as soon as the app loads, it assumed to the 13 that we specified. And now check it out. You have the pin. Then we have the place currently I am. Now from here, if I click on this, we have attached a click event to this. There is an icon, it's a pin icon. Now if I click on this, what's going to happen? I click on this. Okay, I thought I'm using the emulator. Let me use my phone itself. So I'm going to use my finger to pinch on that icon and I'll check it out. So it seems like our click event is not activated. Because if I click on it, it should be able to give us that pop-up. But you see it isn't. So unless we go to the code again and check it up. So let's say from our JS. So I learned maybe the issue might come from here. You know, when you have this listener attached, I think we need to close it. I think from this set info window to get popped up, this should be uppercase. Yeah, uppercase. Once again, we're going to try this out. Don't worry. Let's keep trying and we'll get there. Oh, amazing. You have it. You see it? So you can see from here, can I zoom this? I cannot zoom that. But you can see from here, we have the location details. We have the country is Ghana, town is Tower. Then we have the state is Greater Accra region. No postal address now. We have a latitude and a longitude, isn't it? So I can just close this. And as soon as I click on this again, because the pop-up is on, isn't it? Check it out. I close it. I'm going to click on it again, and I have it. So that is a way to add a beautiful marker to your point. That's your coordinate. So in our next video, we're going to look at how we can integrate sets. If you enjoy this video, then like this video. If you haven't subscribed, then you do subscribe. And also click on the notification bell so you never miss out any upcoming content on this or any other content that I do provide. All right, so thank you, and I'm going to catch up again. Until then, take care. Hello friends and everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. In this video, we're going to look at how we can integrate Google search functionality in our Blazor Hybrid mobile application. This is actually the fourth video, so if you haven't checked any of them, I strongly recommend that you do. You can find these videos in the description below. Now, in these 3 videos that I have recorded earlier on, we spoke about how we can integrate Google search in our Blazor Hybrid app. We spoke about how we can set our current location in the Google map. And also, we spoke about how we can add marker to coordinates. So, I have the video links in the video description. You can check them out. Now, let's say our app is running and we want to make it in a way that user can type in a place, a location, and you're going to have this autocomplete feature enabled where a list of search results pop up. A user clicks on a certain or a specific result, and then the map will relocate to that. Display the map details in the info window div. How can we do it? Let's see how we can integrate that. So when you check our project that we created in our solution, when you check our map.js function, that is what we have so far. We have the set marker function, which sets marker, and we have the initialize map, which initializes the map and now center it to the longitude and the latitude coordinate that we're going to provide. Aside from that, we have location, which gives us access to the details of the coordinate. And also we have the set info, which prepares the info window to get it displayed, as you can see the last here. So let's go and integrate this search functionality here. So I'm going to create it as a function. Then we're going to initialize it as soon as the page also initializes, or this script is called. So this is a function that we're creating. I don't think we need this .NET reference for now. Later on, we're going to look at how we can use it. But you see from here, we are having our input, which is going to be an ID, because you're going to get this element by an ID, and it means you're going to create a component. You see a component or an element, input element, which is going to have an ID of search box. And they want to create this autocomplete coming from the Google map. You see we have this autocomplete. Then we're going to pass on this input. So anything the user pass on to the input is going to have an autocomplete. So you're going to have a list that the user can select from. Then we're going to bind this to the map. Now here we are also adding an event listener. Now here this event is waiting for a place change. So in case the list pops up and the user select any, then this is going to get fired. In case the info here is not found, we want to alert this user with this message. But well, as soon as you specify a location with the coordinate, definitely is going to be found. So we want to focus on the else statement. We want to extract the longitude and the latitude coordinate in it. So we have it here. After that, we also having a marker set in place, a method which adds marker to our point or coordinate. So initially, since we have already a default coordinate, when the page initializes, check here. When the page initializes, we have marker set. So we clear it and we're going to set a new marker with your current location, right? So it means we have this marker here set, which has value. Now we want to override this marker, so we will have to make sure we clear the marker. So that's the reason why we're clearing it here. We make sure if it exists, we want to remove it and I set the reference to null. After that, prepare a new marker. So we're going to set up with this. We're passing the same parameters with the new title as found location. Then we're going to center the location and now zoom it to 15. So you can see from our default one, when the page initializes over here, we center by specifying the latitude and the longitude, right? Then we're going to zoom it. So we can extract only this to a function, then we can call it here and then call it here in order to stop writing this. But since they are just 2 lines, that is the reason why I am also repeating the same thing here. And that is the only thing that I need to do to have this search function work. Aside from this, the next thing that you have to do here is to go to your component. So let's save this. Let's go to our home component and we're going to add an element which will have this ID. So maybe on top of this a div. Now on top of this we want to add this element which will be an input. We have to add the ID. So that ID is what we specified as search box. This is quite important. If you don't do this, this will not work. So you have to make sure you have this ID in there. Now we can decide to give a small space between the input and now the map itself. So maybe we can add class. Then we're going to say MB1 margin bottom. We want to set 1, so we can push this a little bit so it can be free. Okay, that is all. So let's run this and see. So I have my Samsung A12 connected. Let's debug through it. So you can see as soon as I type in, I must have this autocomplete working. Like we see from this, I'm not having this pop up, right? So it means there's something wrong. Let's go and check it. Like we see from here, this function is not executing. Check our map.js. You can see we have this function created, but we are not calling this function. Did you see that? So as soon as the page initializes and now this function gets called, after setting up this marker, we can also go and initialize the map. That is quite simple. You forgot this. So check it here from our search box. It seems we omitted. See? So it isn't the same as the search box. I believe it's the same now. Okay. Let's rerun this again. So it seems from the look of things here, we made a mistake here on line 83, whereby we have maps, which should be dot places because we're going to search for places. Then we have the autocomplete. Yes, and also one thing, when we check our info window, we have this last name and postal code. Let's add a title here. Now with this title, we can pass on this. Since we're going to change this, call this dynamically. Let's say there is a title. And now that means when we go to the set info window, when we check from get location details, we need to pass this title here. Now this get location window. So when the app starts, initializes, then it's going to set this marker. Now there is a title that you want to display over here. So when you come here, you pass the title. And now after passing the title to this marker, when the mouse is hovered, you're going to see the title. And also when we call this get location details, you want to see the title on top. So passing the title. And then when you come to this get location details, it must receive title. Okay. And now here, when you go to this set info window, you must pass the title here. Now set info window, we accept the title, then we pass the title here. When we go to our search, we pass the title also because we call this set mapper, which takes in 3 parameters: latitude, longitude, and the title. Okay, we are defining place here. We are using this place, but we are not defining this place. So when this runs, it's going to be an issue. You see that? So let's have this place defined. So now that we have this, we can go ahead and use the place, extract our location from it, which includes our coordinate, and then set the mapper and center the map to this current coordinate. Okay. So once we are done with all this, we're going to run this application and check it out. So the map is loading. Now we have our search bar ready, and our map itself will also be ready soon. Yes, and we have our current location. Let's go and make a search. So you see, as I type, I have this pop-up which gives me a list of options that I can choose from. If I click on any of them, let's see, I click on this, the map now moves to the location, and I could say I have found location. It gives me the town and now the state, the latitude and the longitude in case it has postal address. Let's move away from Ghana. Let's go for another country. So here we having maybe we're having an Indian High Commission in Ghana. No, we don't want to do that. Okay, so let's choose that. Let's use that. And you can see now this where it is. So if I'm going there, I think I can use my application to locate where it is. You see? So it is here. Now let's use another one. Okay, so now I have this from UK, Germany. Let's use one. Oh, and now I find the location. Now you can see I have the postal code, we have the state, we have the town, we have the country. So that is how you can simply integrate a search functionality in our Google Map in our Blazor Hybrid application. I believe you enjoyed this video as I did. If you did so, then do not forget to like this video by giving me the thumbs up. And also if you haven't subscribed, then you subscribe to get more content from this channel. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any update as soon as I upload the next video on this Google Map integration. Alright, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'm going to catch you up in the next video. Hello friends and everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. In this video, we are going to continue on our map integration in Blazor Hybrid Mobile Application. We've done 4 videos. In those videos, I spoke about how you can integrate map in your mobile app, how you can set your current location in it, how you can integrate marker or how to add interactive marker to your location or your coordinates. And the last one was how you can add Google Maps search, how you can search places with the help of autocomplete. Now, in this video, which is going to be the fifth one, we're going to talk about how we can integrate directions, how to set directions in Google Maps. You know, when you want to set directions, you need two coordinates, talking about the starting coordinate and now the ending coordinate. When you have this start and end coordinates, we can initialize, or we can call the Google service or direction API, which is going to strike a line between these two coordinates. And that is what we're going to have a look in this video. So if you haven't checked any of the videos, check the video description. The playlist is there. You can go in and now watch those videos. As usual, if you are happy to see more of this and you enjoy this lesson, make sure you give me a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't done that. And click on the notification bell to receive updates as soon as I upload a new content on map integration or any other Blazor or Blazor Hybrid content. All right, now let's move on. So this is what we did in the last video. We have our map.js whereby we integrated the sets. Now, in order for us to have this direction service, we must activate that when the page initializes. So in our initialize method that we created, let's initialize the directions here. So in here, we're activating the two services. And since we have the map initialized, as you can see, we created, this one is a global variable. But within this method, we still can use, if even it is a local variable. Then we have this map stored. As soon as the page initializes, we have the map stored over here. And we want to add the map, set the map in the renderer. So here we're going to have the service and we're going to have the renderer, which is going to render the map that you're going to create by specifying the coordinates. Now that we have this service activated, now let's go and create a function. Now this function will be responsible for retrieving values from two input text boxes. Then it's going to use these values, going to extract the coordinates from these values and start the request with these coordinates. So when you look at this, you can see we are writing a small function. Now this function is going to initialize the start and our end field. It's going to take in an element ID of start location and end location. That means we're going to create an element, which is going to be an input element, and we need to specify the ID attribute. And then the value for that attribute should be start location and now end location respectively. Now we're going to initialize this autocomplete so that the user start to type in the place, a pop-up or a drop-down will pop up, so user can select maybe a specific location from the list. Now we're going to add event handler. We want to bind the selected location to the variable that we have created here. So we bind this place change, and now we start the autocomplete. And now when this starts, as soon as the user selects, we're going to have this get place. So the place is going to be received from here. And now we want to extract the start latitude and longitude from the place which have been selected. And we can get that from the place.geometry, the location. I hope this is clear. Now we're doing the same for the end autocomplete. So when the method execute up to this level, we would have gotten our start lat long and now end lat long, right? Good. So the next thing that we're going to be doing after doing this is to start with our calculation, how to calculate for the route. Let's copy this method and let's initialize it here. Now let's create another function which is going to calculate the route. Now, when we check our calculate route function that we have created, we first want to check in case we have marker put in place, we want to remove it. The reason behind that is we're going to have our two coordinates set. So we don't want to have any marker set alongside, maybe pointing to other location, etc. Because you're going to provide a start and end location. Then we're going to create our request. Our request takes in this our start lat long, which is the coordinate, our destination, which is the end coordinate, and also the travel mode. So here I'm using driving. You can use walking, you can use bicycle, you can use all the modes, okay, in here. But let's focus on one, which is driving. Then when you have this request created, we need to send the request to the API. That's the route. Now in here, so we're going to call this direction service. Then we're going to send it. Now when routing, we're going to provide in the request. That's what we have created from our system. Now when it gets to that place, that's the Google server, it's going to process it and return a result and also status. So this result and status, we're going to check first if the status here is equal to OK based on direction status. Then we want to set the direction. By then, this direction will be having the correct data, so we can set the direction straight to the result. Then when we have that, we can also retrieve our result. That's for our duration, our distance from it. So we do that from extracting our duration and our distance within that between those coordinates. And then we want to have our div element so we can pass on this information to the user. So you can see that there is a kilometers, there is a time duration that you're going to use when driving to reach that place from the start to an end. See, so once you have this, let's go and create our element in the component. So in our home element, that's where we have we're initializing our app. We have our div to initialize the app, the map itself. Now you want to we have this search, so maybe we can put this start and the end element also here. So let's do that. So in here, when you look at our element that we have created, it's a div which takes in 3 elements, input 2 input elements, and also we have 1 button. We're going to display that horizontally. And in there, we're going to have a show route button. If it is clicked, we want to bind this event. We call the function that we have created. This is quite simple, isn't it? And I believe you understand and you can do this. Great. All right. So the next thing we're going to be doing here is we are done. We're going to run this project and I'll test it out. So our app is ready. And as you can see from here, I have this search button on top, and I have this start location now and location, whereby I can have this show route. But we missed one thing, and I believe you did not miss that. When we check our JS file that we created from our map.js, you can see that we need a div element with route info, so we can display that. And we forgot to create it. Did you create that? Okay, so maybe we can go in there and create it. So let's copy this route info. Then let's go to our home. And maybe we can add a text box down here. All right, so our app is now ready. It is loading. And then we have our div here. Route info will appear here. Okay, so when the app loads, we're having our location. I think we have an issue here. We can check it from this output. And it's coming from the line 22. Let's check it out from our home component. So in our home page, line 22, that is coming from this invoke method. And here, this is going to happen, or this error is coming from the service that we injected, because that is the only thing that we did in there. Let's check our map.js, and here I think the error is going to come from here, either from this method or from that. So let's debug it line by line and check it out. So we have this variable created direction service and a directions renderer. We must make sure we are having the same value set here. Then we have the direction renderer. That's great. Now here we have this google.maps.directions. Okay, service. Oh, okay. So it's direction service, not direction services. Let's rerun this. So the map is loaded with no issue. And you can see we have our current location. Now we integrated the search, so we are not focusing on the search. We want to look at the stats and now the end location. So let's do it. Now we also added autocomplete. So as soon as I type in something like Accra, I must have this autocomplete. Let me go in for the more. Now choose that, and that is my start. Now let's go in for the end, and I'm going to choose like Kumasi. And here I'm going to choose the city mall. So I'm going to locate between 2 malls from 2 regions, and I'll check the route. Okay, check the duration, the distance, and a whole lot. So click on show route, and now let's see. So you can see it is going to locate. And let's see. We have our B. Okay. So that means we have our distance 1 minute. This is 1 meter, and we have 1 meter. We have our duration as 1 minute. All right, so I think there's something wrong here, because when you check, you see we are not having our A, and there's no line. Let's go and debug our application again and check it out. So when you look at the method that we created, that's to initialize the start and end field. That is where the error might come from. Let's go and check it out. So from here, we have our start coordinate and our end coordinate. We get them by ID. We initialize the autocomplete for both start and end. Great. We have start and end. Amazing. Now start autocomplete. We want to attach an event, which is place change. In there, I want to get the place, and I'll store to the start. And I will do same. We create the place. Oh, okay. So watch here. We are repeating the same thing. So here should be end. That is it. Again. And let's go and do this again. Oh, amazing. So you see that here we have the A and B. That's our starting point from A, and that's our ending point. The distance here is 248 kilometers, and the duration is going to take me 4 hours 54 minutes to drive from here to that. If I click on the label, I have the where I am having it, and if I click on the other one too, you can also have this label. You see, so that is this is the default one provided by Google, and as soon as you have this direction created or established between two coordinates, you get these labels automatically. All right, so you can try your hands on it, and it's going to work for you as well. All right, so that will be the end for this video. We've seen how we can calculate for distance and construct a line default by Google between two coordinates. We've seen how we also created this input element we're going to be received, and also listen for change in a JavaScript function that we created. All right, so stay tuned. And next one, we're going to talk about something interesting, and you're going to love that. So stay tuned for more. As usual, if you haven't subscribed, then you make sure you do that. And if you know you've learned something and you're okay with this and you want to get more of this, then make sure you also give a thumbs up to this video. Until then, take care and see you again. Hello friends and everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. In this video, we're going to look at how we can customize polylines. What are polylines? Polylines are lines that are drawn between two coordinates. In our last video, which is the fifth one, we had a look on how we can calculate a distance between two coordinates. And in that, we were provided a default polyline by Google. And that is what you can see from here. So in this, we're going to customize the service that we have registered here. Because you know that here, default, we have this line constructed. So we want to stop this and then construct our own. I believe you are getting the gist, isn't it? This is the one default going to be constructed for as soon as you provide your start and finish coordinate. Now, instead of constructing this, hey, we want to stop this, and I'll do our own. So let's do that. We can modify the direction renderer so we can stop this polyline, and later on we're going to add our own. So by doing this, you have now put a stop to the default line created or polyline created for you when you have to coordinate. We are passing options here. So we want to suppress polyline. We set that on to true. We want to get rid of that. This is a map that we created, and this map is coming from the global variable that we created. I believe, remember, this is from the starting of the video. Now we have this here. That is all. So now when we run this, what's going to happen? We're going to have the line constructed, but there won't be any line. Yes. Maybe you can run this and check it out. But let's go and customize it. Let's go and add our own, change the width, change the color, and so more. So let's do that. Now we can have this set in our calculate route. That is where we have our start, and now we have our finish. As you can see from here, when you create our request, we provide these values. Start and now end. So by adding these 3 lines of code, we are able to customize our polyline. What are we doing? You can see we are using Polyline, and I believe you can see that attached to our Google Map. In here, we need this to provide these parameters to it, which is the path. The path here, it is a route path. We want to get let's say the polyline between 2 coordinates. That is a route. So you want to get that. So we have this path specified, and we can get it from this. You can see that here, this is a result. We can get our route for the first one. Then here we want to get the overview path, so which is going to give us access to only that route path. We want to change the color, so you see we have a stroke color to this. Then we need opacity, which is actually 1.0. That is to see or to view everything. If you want to fade it, you can make it like 0.5, 0.7, 0.2. You can try that. And then we have our stroke weight, which is how slim you want your line to be. We say 2, and then our global variable that we created to handle the entire map system. That is what we have in the specifiers map, and that is all. Now, with this customization that we have done, let's go and run this app and check it out. All right, so we have our app ready. And I want to check here, I have provided with 2 coordinates, that is the starting and now the end, so we can have our polyline created between 2 coordinates. And I check it out. You can see now the polyline here, it is 10. I think this one is deep blue. Is that so? And as you can see, when you check the weight compared to the default one, you can see that, hey, this has been customized, right? Yeah, so that is a way to handle that. We've seen how we can customize our polyline between 2 coordinates. All right, so I'm going to catch up again with the next informative content on same Google Map integration in Blazor Hybrid. If you enjoyed this video, then do not forget to give me a thumbs up by clicking on the like button. And don't forget to turn on the notification, because it gives you an update as soon as I upload new content. All right, so I'm going to catch up again with the next one. Take care, and I'll see you again. Hello friends and everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. In this video, we are going to look at how we can change the theme of our Google Map in Blazor Hybrid Mobile Application. Anytime that you create an application with Google Map, you're going to have the standard theme. So when you check the screen, I have integrated one over here, and you can see that that is the standard theme that I got, right? And I believe you got same anytime that you try to integrate this map in your application. But do you know there are a lot of themes that you can change? Yes. Let me show you. Now, pull your browser, and now let's go to mapstyle.withgoogle.com. Now, in here, you're going to have access to number of themes here. Check it out. Now you can see from here, we have the standard one, and that is what we normally see anytime that we integrate mapping application, right? We also have the silver up to the last one over here. Now you can decide to choose any of these. So let's assume you want to use this night. How do you integrate it in your Blazor application? It's quite simple. If you have been following my videos on map integration in Blazor Hybrid, you've seen that you're going to create a JS file, and that is where you're going to write your script to make sure you integrate the map. All right, so in that, if you want to integrate this, just click on the selected one and then go to finish. In here, you can see we have this. Let's copy this JSON content here. So grab that, copy to clipboard. Let's go to our application. Now in our application, we have our map.js file created. Now in here, let's create a variable to hold the value that we copied. So we are creating a variable known as style, and the value is what we copy. So we're going to paste that. After we are good, we can just copy the value or the variable that we have in here. Now in our map, let's specify styles, and then let's specify the current style that we have. All right, now that we are good here, we make sure that we have the div class created with an ID over here, and that is what the map is integrating through it. Okay, we call the JS method, as you can see from here on the page, render this using this on after render async. Okay, now that we have this integrated, let's go and run that and check this out. Oh, bingo! Yeah, we got it. So you can see from here that the theme that we copied, we have gotten the same theme in here, isn't it? Yeah, so that is the simplest way that you can integrate or change the theme of your map, Google Map in your Blazor application. So that is how to integrate or change the theme of your Google Map in Blazor Hybrid application. Now you can see that all the videos that I have created on Google Map integration, we all implemented them using JavaScript, isn't it? Now, what if in case you want to skip that? Well, stay tuned because I have good news for you. In the next videos, I'm going to implement same Google Map in our Blazor Hybrid using package. Which package is that? Watch the next video. All right, so that is all for this today. Thank you for watching this, and hopefully I'm going to catch you up in the next video.